Hey everybody, welcome back. Devin, the OG original Grognard, Grognard's Corner, the Grognard's Table, playing, continuing our playthrough of Avalon Hill's card-driven man-to-man squad leader card game up front. I'd say try to say that 12 times fast, but yeah, not gonna happen. As often happens when I am playing a game solitaire and recording it and trying to get through the turns and give examples and keep dialogue and dissertation going, I sometimes forget the victory conditions. And as I've mentioned before, the victory conditions for this scenario is that the Soviets have got to get, or either side, Soviets or Germans, have to get 4 personality units to their rank band 4. So as we can look at our little handy-dandy little chart, for the Soviets, the red guys, they got to get to rank band 4, so they got to advance 4 levels. The Germans have to get to rank band 4, which is, 4 rank bands up. Well, as we can look at our little chart, Soviet Group A is already at rank band 3. These guys right here. They are 1 rank band away from getting into position and then moving into terrain that provides them cover. They could win as early as 2 turns from now. Because with the Germans, I didn't push the Germans up far enough, except for Group C. I finally pushed them up far enough. I always forget, and I've done this several times in the past doing this scenario, you need to push up 2 rank bands to capture or to get into position to stop the opponent from getting to their rank band 4. So, yeah, these Soviets have been sneaking up really well, and we could see a Soviet victory in 2 turns, depending on how the cards roll. Also, there has been a request if there was going to be any infiltration and close combat. I wasn't really planning on doing it with this video, because with the programmed instructions, infiltration and close combat, yeah, I mean, yes, you can play this scenario with the full rules. I typically don't when I'm introducing new players to the game. But since I kind of know what I'm doing, if we get into a position where there's going to be some close combat and infiltration, I think we're going to see an example of that. And I think it may be coming up relatively quick over here with Group A. But anyways, we're back to the Germans' turn. And so basically what the Germans need to do is they either need to lay down some withering firepower to slow that Soviet advance down, or they need to advance themselves. Unfortunately, we got no movement cards. We got some fire cards, but we don't have any movement cards. So that means we're going to need to burn through a bunch of cards to try to get a movement card. Hopefully. All right, so what do we have, though? What are we looking at? We do have 2 fire cards. We're at, let's see, we can generate 10 or generate 9 or even generate 19, but we've got a hero card that allows you to double the firepower of any 1 unit. So let's take a look at what we can do over here with Group A. And basically, they're at range band 4. So how much firepower can we generate? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can generate a whole 7 firepower with that group, which really isn't enough. So you know what? Just because we want to cycle the cards and try to cycle through to get some movement cards, we're going to burn this hero card, which allow us to double the firepower of any 1 personality, and we're going to play it on Sergeant Diettinger. And so that basically takes, he's a range band 4, it takes his firepower 3, doubles it to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now we can play this firepower 10 card, because we've got the firepower for it. So we're going to go ahead and play that. Let's go ahead and lay that right down. So let's take a look at modifications and modifiers. So we got fire strength 5 or 4. 5 because we're on a hill shooting down. And the wall, I think the wall is -1 only when you're being fired at from the flanks, not from a hilltop. Let me check that real quick. Let's see, wall. Any defending group on a wall card may subtract 2 from the fire strength of the opposing group directly opposite. A defending group on the wall may subtract only 1. Mortar or artillery. Defending group on a wall card attacked by any group other than directly opposing may subtract 1. Yeah, nothing about hills. So let's go ahead and look through what our final fire strength is going to be. 4, 5 because we're firing from the hill. 4, 3 because of the wall coverage. Do the Soviets have a concealed card? They do not have a concealed card, but they do have a movement card. Not good in this position, but for coming up. So we're looking at 3, and just start at the top there and go. So 3 plus 1 is a 4. Unfortunately, the squad leader is a morale 4, so that's going to pin him. So 3 plus 1 is a 4. Again, that's going to pin him. 3 minus 0 is a 3, which is going to pin him. 3 minus 4 is a neg 1, so nothing. And 3 plus 1 is a 4, which is going to pin him as well. All right, so the Germans have bought themselves a little bit of breathing room. And I don't think we've seen any. Still haven't seen very many building cards. That's fine. They're probably deeper in the deck. All right, that's good. That buys the Germans a little bit of time. And we've also got another card. We've got a fire 3. If we could generate 9 firepower. So let's go ahead and take a look at this group. They're relative range 4. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, okay, so we can generate 9 firepower. So let's go ahead and generate 9 firepower. And we're going to fire at Group A again. So we're looking at fire strength 3. Nothing for no terrain modifiers for the attacker, but it's a -1 for the defender because the wall, the -2 only for the wall only takes into account if you're firing straight across. If you're firing by an adjacent group, it's only going to be a -1. So we're looking at a 2 fire strength. All right, 2 plus 1 is 3, and his panic number is 5, so that no effect on him. 2 minus 3 is neg 1, which is going to be nothing. 2 minus 1 is a 1, which is going to be nothing. 2 plus 0 is a 2, which is going to be nothing. And 2 minus 0 is a 2, which is going to be nothing. So, a little disappointing. Germans had hoped to try to rout or drive off somebody from that group, but just didn't seem to happen. But we're cycling through cards. What do we got left? All right, we got a woods card, and we got a concealed card. We got nobody under a movement. Actually, the only group that could do anything is this group over here. They got nothing they can do, so... But since the Germans did do an action, they can discard something. Ooh, woods or concealed. Now, I think we're going to hold on to both of those. And draw back up to 5 cards. Fire card, a rally card, and a concealed card. Crap! We were hoping for movement. Alright, so that leaves the Soviets. What are the Soviets going to do now? Well, they were going to move Group A, but we got several guys that are pinned there. So, but we do have a Rally 5 card, so we're going to play a Rally 5 card, and the German sighs with exasperation. And the Soviets get all their guys back. That's not a good thing. And we got this group here, Group B. What do we want to do? I don't think we can generate 15 firepower. The closest group to them is Group C, which is 5, 4, range band 3. And only be able to generate 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, they can only generate 14 firepower here. They're going to have to get a little bit closer, and we don't want to move them off the hill. So the Soviets, that's pretty much it for the Soviets. So they did an action, so they can't discard, so they are going to draw back up. Split card, movement for the Soviets, or a concealed card for anybody. See, occasionally you'll see that happen. A split card that can be used, that both halves can be used by the same side. So it can be used by the Soviets as a movement card, or a concealed card by the Soviets, U.S., and Germans. Now, I will mention that for the other nationalities, since you don't have like British and British, French, Japanese, Italians, the rules say it's like, okay, for the Italians, their split cards use the Soviet, so they use split cards like this. Now, I don't know if that's actually true. I'm just using it as an example. I could pull out the rules, but I'm not going to dig for them to look for that. Okay, so that's what the Soviets got. Back over to the Germans. Okay, no movement cards. We got a fire card. Crap, we got to cycle through stuff again. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fire this fire card, that fire 1. And we're going to fire Group A because we've got to. So I think we can generate the 3 firepower. Modifiers are going to be 1, plus 1 is 2, minus 2 is 0. Now remember, even if your final fire strength is 0 or less, you still pull because black numbers increase those numbers. So we got a 0 plus 4 is a 4, which is going to pin him. 0 plus 0 is a 0. 0 plus 0 is a 0. 0 plus 3 is a 3, which is going to pin him. And a 0. Minus 6 is a neg 6, which is not going to do anything. Now, again, crap. Should I do it? Nah, I haven't been playing it so far this game. Red 6s usually indicate a broken weapon. I'm not going to worry about it because I haven't been paying attention to doing that for the entire game. And I think at this stage of the game, it'd be a little bit unfair to kick that rule in. But yeah, you always want to keep an eye out for 5s and 6s when you draw them as a random number creation, or as a random number creation, because that will break somebody's weapon in the group. So that's going to be that. And let's see, what do we got? We got a Conceal 2, and a Rally 2. I don't think the Soviets are going to be putting a lot of firepower out. So let's go ahead and discard this card, because again, we want to try to cycle through cards because we need to get a movement card. Oh, there we go. There's a movement card. And another fire card. Alrighty. What do the Soviets got? Well, they got 2 broken guys now. Unfortunately, we don't have any rally cards, do we? No, we don't. So, you know what? We need to get Group B a little bit closer so we can take advantage of that firepower 15. And I hate pulling them off the hill, but let's go ahead and advance them. And let's bring them to range band 2. If I can find the range band 2 counter. There we go. And make sure to advance them 1. Yeah, they did an action, so they can't discard everything. Probably should have discarded. Probably should not have done anything. Yeah, that was probably a bad move on my part. Oh well, live and learn. We'll live with it. Draw up. Another wire card. They don't need another wire card because they've already got one that they can throw on the Germans. All right, now back to the Germans. The Germans now have a movement. So let's go ahead and play that movement card on Group A, advancing them 1 rank forward, which will put them in range band 4. So now the Soviets are going to have to try to dig them out if they want to capture that range band 4. All right, so we got that movement, and we got the Woods card that we can jump into next turn. You know what? We got this Firepower 2 card, and again, we want to try to cycle through cards. So let's go ahead. I think we're going to play that fire card on Group B, from B to B. And let's see, they're at range band 5, 4, 3. So they can generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 firepower. So they definitely got the firepower for the card. So let's take a look at the modifiers. Fire strength is going to be 1, +1 for the movement, -1 for shooting up on top of the hill. So 1, 2, back down to a 1. And let's check damage. 1 - 2 is nothing. 1 - 0 is nothing. 1 + 0 is nothing. 1 + 0. There's a building card. And I think we just pulled that completely out as a no card. 1 + 0. Hey, there's another building card. So 1 + 3 is a 4, which is going to pin him. And 1 + 3 is a 4, which is going to pin him. All right. Now, you got to remember special rules. First 5 building cards that are pulled actually get removed from the game. I was also going over the rules a little bit and come to find out that if you pull them as just part of your normal hand, they actually act as a cower card. So that's a good bit of information to know and to remember. All right, so we stopped the advance on B a little bit. What else do we have? We got a woods, we got a concealed, we got a rally too. Well, we don't have... I've got nobody to rally. I'm not getting shot at. And the only guy under movement card just played the movement card, so he can't jump into the terrain. So that's going to be it for the Germans. And I think... Now, the Germans are going to keep all these cards. We like those. Refill our hand. 2 movement cards. There, now we're getting the movement cards again. All right. Soviet turn. Alrighty. I should have played the concealed card. Oh, well. The Germans are going to hate us for doing this. But the Soviets are not going to take any actions. Although, it might be worth jumping these guys. If these guys jump into open ground, it's just going to be a wash. It's going to be the same. So, what we're going to do instead, as our discard, we're going to play a terrain card on an opposing unit that's under a movement card. So, we're going to play that wire card on the Germans. Now, what does that mean? What does that do? That is going to slow them down a little bit. Now, the Germans, normally when you get a terrain card played on you, you have the option of, what's it called? Denying or rejecting the terrain. But I don't think you can, well, maybe you can. Okay, wire card can only be placed on an opposing group in lieu of a discard. Cannot be played on a group in a marsh or pillbox. Wire can be placed on stream terrain only after the group has successfully forded the stream. Let's see. Okay, so I guess I can reject it. Rejecting terrain. However, if he accepts the terrain card placement on the group, his opponent, play continues as normal. However, if he rejects the terrain card placement on his group by his opponent, he must immediately change the advanced route mode of the movement card to it was played on a sideways move. This changes back the ranged chit of the group, but does not qualify for flanking fire bonus or lateral bonus. Okay, so if I deny the card, if I reject the wire card, then the wire card will go away, and the movement card will actually turn to a sideways movement card, and I will go back to range band 1. You know what? I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to reject the wire card. We're going to change our movement card to a lateral movement, which will put this back to range band 1, which will actually move us back to here. Now, the reason I'm doing that is, 1, I don't want to get stuck in a wire, and 2, the Soviets have at least 2 pin guys, so they're not going to be able to advance forward anytime soon. So I'm basically trading a little bit of space. Yeah, it sucks that I am under, a movement card without getting any forward advance, but, what are you going to do? All right, so that was their discard. You can only play a terrain card on an opposing player's group as a discard. So that was their sole action for the Soviets. Oh, we got a rally 1. That's kind of good. We'll be able to rally 1 guy. All right, now what do the Germans have? Back to the Germans. You know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to play another movement card. And that is going to get us back up to range band 2. Oh, I just had the range band 2 marker. What did I do with it? There it is. Okay. So they're back at range band 2 for them, which is range band 4 for the Soviets. Now, the problem is, since we are now under 2 movement cards, if we get shot at, we are at +2 fire strength. And since we are 2 movement cards away from the hill, we no longer get the terrain bonus of the hill. So it's whenever you play the second card away from a terrain card, you are no longer protected by the hill. Even though the hill card is still there, it doesn't protect me. So if they get shot at, it's going to be +2 fire strength, and they won't get the defensive bonus of the hill. So a little something to remember. That's one rule that sometimes slips by people. What do we got? We got movement rally concealed. Let's go ahead and play another movement card over here to advance them to 3. Now, granted, I know I need 4 personalities, but I do want to move these guys up just to give some better flanking fire if the cards ever show up. Rally 2, we're going to keep that. We're going to keep it concealed. We got guys under movement, so we want to keep the terrain card. We're good with that. So we draw back up. Got a movement and a brush. That's always good. All right. Back to the Soviets. What are the Soviets going to... The Soviets are going to be dicks. And they're going to play another wire card on the Germans. And the Germans are cursing the Soviets for being dicks. Oh, yeah, you know what? We're going to deny it again, which is going to turn this to a sideways lateral move, which is, again, going to push them back to range band 1. And the Germans are really cursing because they are really, really pissed that they can't get up into range band 4. And that's basically the only thing they're doing because you have to do that as a discard. Fire. Oh, okay, there we got a little bit of fire card, which is going to be really bad because German Group A is already under 2 movement cards. All right, back over to the Germans. All right. Now, the Germans could play another movement card on Group A, but then they'll be at +3 fire strength fired against them because they'll have 3 movement cards on. So, you know what? They're just going to go ahead and play the brush. And they're going to get into the brush, which is going to discard those 2 movement cards and the hill card. And they have achieved nothing in the last several turns of trying to advance forward. Okay, what else have we got? Oh, we got woods. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop these guys into the woods. And we got 3 cards. We like the 3 cards. We don't want to discard any. So let's pull 2. Movement and rally 4. That's good. The Soviets are the ones that need the rally cards. But they're not really getting them. So what have we got? I got a rally 1. You know what? We need big rally cards. We're not getting them. I could do some fire, but, you know, all the German units are in terrain. They're not under movement. So that fire 2 is not really going to... You know what? The Russians are not going to do any actions. They're going to discard their entire hand and redraw 4. As you can see, this is a problem with the Russians. The command and their command and control. There we go. Rally all. That's going to come in real handy. That is going to be huge. And we got a couple pretty good fire. Yeah, I have a feeling that the Soviets are going to be laying some hurt on the Germans here next turn. All right. And you know what? We're getting close to the 25-minute mark, so I'm going to pop out, and I will be right back. I could probably do that and not say anything, and y'all would probably never notice the half second it takes me to turn the camera off and turn it back on. I may do that in the future. And we're back. So, the Germans have got a couple movement cards, a rally card. You can see actually a couple rally cards. Concealment card, couple movement cards. Got no fire cards, though, so you know what we are going to do, though. We're going to go ahead and throw a movement card on there, even though we don't have a terrain card, because worst case scenario, I can always throw an open ground, but we've got to get one more range band forward before those Soviets rally. And what else have we got? Do I want to advance towards that DP? No, I really don't want to advance towards that DP. We got a Rally 4, Rally 2, Concealed card. You know what? We're going to go ahead and get rid of the Rally 2 card as well. And draw. Well, we got, oh, okay. We got a 13, Fire 3. Okay, we are fire strength 5. We might be able to do something with that. That's 4. And what else did we get? Oh, we got a pretty good, another big fire card. All right, so what do we got? Soviets, Rally All. I got to check the Rally All card just to make sure, because there's some timing issues I want to check with that. Rally All. The Rally All card can be used to rally all pinned men of 2 adjacent groups at the same range, provided either group has a non-pinned squad leader, advanced squad leader, or commissar. Well, neither one of those groups are adjacent to each other. Soviet A and B are not adjacent to each. Oh, hold it. Adjacent, but does it say did I read that as same range band or just adjacent? Or all of the pinned men in 2 non-adjacent groups that each has a non-pinned leader. Okay. The Rally All card can be used to rally all pinned men of 2 adjacent groups. Doesn't say they have to be at the same range. So these 2 guys are adjacent to each other. So we're going to play the Rally All card, which is going to rally everyone. Now I need to check the timing of this, because is that played as a discard, which means I can't do anything, or do I play it okay, as a non-pinned squad leader, assistant squad leader? All right, so this group was the only one that had an unpinned assistant squad leader. He's the guy with the DP-28 is actually also the assistant squad leader. So he's the one that's going to play the Rally All. It rallies the adjacent groups. So that means these guys are now rallied, and they haven't done an action because this was the group that actually played the action card. So this group can still do an action. And let's see how much firepower they can... You know what? I said I wanted to do it, so we're going to do it. We're at range band 5 with each other. We are going to try an infiltration. And you know what? The Soviets are going to attempt to infiltrate with everyone. First off, we're going to look, do we have any movement cards? Okay, no. Which is kind of sucks, because movement cards would help with infiltration. But what does infiltration mean? Well, basically meaning you're trying to infiltrate guys into a range band, a relative range 5 enemy group, so you can engage them in hand-to-hand combat. So how do we do that? The first thing you got to do is see if you actually can, if your guys actually are motivated enough to try to infiltrate the enemy group. And that is real easy to do. You make a morale test, which is just, pulling from the action deck and looking at the random number, comparing it to the morale. Or you can play a movement card. If you play a movement card, they automatically pass that check. However, I've got no movement cards, so each person that you have to nominate before you start drawing everybody who's going to attempt to move. But I said everybody is going to attempt to move. So we're going to go ahead and draw random numbers. Now, red or black numbers doesn't matter in this case. You're just looking for a number or the random number, and if it's under their morale, they make it. If it's equal to or greater, they actually end up pinned. So again, starting from the top left. 2, he's good. He'll infiltrate because his morale is a 3. There's buildings. Pull the building out and discard it. Second guy, there's the other building. Well, now we know where all the building cards are. Well, more than 5 building cards. Okay, so this one actually stays in play because we've already moved 5 for the special scenario special rule. The number's a 1. His morale is a 4. He'll make it in. Damn, what did I could have swore I shuffled these cards better than that. Morale 1, or number 1 is less than or equal, or is less than his morale of 3. He makes it. Next guy, oh wow, I must not have shuffled these cards at this deck at all. So that's a 0, which is less than 3, so he's good, and 1, which is less than 3. Again, like I said, you don't pay attention to red or black. You're just looking for the straight up number. And that's actually really, really bad because every single Soviet managed to infiltrate into the German space. Now, normally you put these really cool, I've got these really cool infiltrator markers, and you place that on the card. Let's see if we can, focus. Well, you get the idea. Oh, no. That means they just passed their check. Now to see if they actually managed to do it. That's right. There was one more step. So all the guys passed their morale and they want to infiltrate. Now we get to see if they actually do infiltrate. Okay. When checking for infiltration, the attacker draws a random position check and uses the column equaling the number of personnel cards in the defending group as his starting group, but may have to shift right or left one or more columns due to a wide assortment of circumstances. Having determined the proper column to check for infiltration, the attacker then determines whether he has a red or black random position number. If the number is red, the attacking man has infiltrated the enemy position. Place an infiltrator's chit on the attacking man's card. If the number is black, the man was unable to infiltrate the enemy position. However, he suffers no penalty for the failed attempt and may to infiltrate again in a future turn. All right, so what does that mean? That means we got to check a random position number, and if it's red, he makes it. If it's black, it's not. And there are some modifiers. Let's see, we got night. No, there's no night. Smoke, no smoke. Brush. There is brush. If the attacker is attempting to infiltrate from brush, okay, he's not. Woods, hill, pillbox. Open ground, pin defenders. Moving. If the attacker is attempting to infiltrate from a moving group, okay, that condition isn't in effect. If the attacker is attempting to infiltrate, which has already been infiltrated, okay. Okay, well, it doesn't look like we have any modifiers. So, what does that mean? Random position check. Looking for red numbers. All right, so what we're going to do is we need to draw a bunch of cards from the action deck again. And there are 3 Germans in the enemy group. So that's the position number we're going to be looking for. So what does that mean? We take a look at the 3 column, which is right here, and we look underneath and we're looking for either a black number or a red number. Okay, so red number means he infiltrates, black number means he does not, but there's no negative penalties to him. Okay, so the first guy, it's a 3. He's not going to infiltrate. Second guy, under a 3, he doesn't infiltrate. Third guy will infiltrate. Fourth guy does not. Fifth guy does not. Wow, so the Russians were really motivated, but somehow only one guy managed to make it over to infiltrate. Now, what does that mean now that he's infiltrated? As you can see, we put the little infiltration marker on the guy up there. Right here. So what does that mean? 2 things. Next turn, he can attempt to close combat somebody in the enemy group, or he can double his firepower for any 1 fire strength card. And yeah, you know, at range band 5, because that's technically what there are when you're infiltrated, his firepower is a 3. He could double that to a 6. However, as soon as he does that, he loses his infiltration status and will go back to being part of the normal group. But we are set up so that we do have at least one guy that can attempt close combat next turn. Has to be next turn, can't be this turn. Because you got to infiltrate, wait a turn, then close combat. So, what does that mean now? We got a conceal card, we got fire card. Yeah, all right. Well, the fire cards we can't use because we attempted infiltration with this group. This group played the rally card. So, draw back up. Got another fire card. Wow. Actually, 15, 21, 22. Even with that guy infiltrated, I don't think, which that would be a hell of a fire strength. 5, 8, 9. Yeah, that would be a hell of a fire strength. But I don't think, even with him infiltrated, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Well, yeah, well, we'll see when we get back around to the Soviets. All right, to the Germans. What do the Germans got? Well, they had a fire 13 and a firepower 18. Let's see, what can these guys, how much can these guys generate? Because they're at range band 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is not enough for either card. All right, well, let's see what this group can do. They're at relative range 4 to Group A and 3 to Group B. Of course, we want to fire Group A because they're the one trying to infiltrate, and they're the closest. So relative range 4 is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's even worse. No fire cards. All right, what about the Germans, the MG? They're at relative range 4 to Group B. That group right there. They could fire at Group A. Oh, you know what? Take a look at our little range band thingy here. They're at relative range 5. Because they were at the same range band. And if they're more than one group over, it's one range band further. So they're actually range band 4. But does that... Trying to think natural flanking fire. Oh, it's got to be an adjacent enemy group. Okay. All right. So, and I have to play a flanking movement card. All right, so that idea went down, but we can still fire group. Okay, we're relative range 4 for Group A. How much firepower can we generate? 8, 9, 10. Still nothing. If we fire at Group B, we're relative range 5, which is 9, 10, 11, 12, which still isn't. 13s and 18s. Wonderful. So the Germans can't do anything more. You know what? We do not want to be under a movement card in close combat. I want to keep the concealed. All right, so we're going to discard the movement card to play that as an open ground card to get rid of that movement and not be under brush anymore. And like I said, I hate leaving cards out like that to indicate as open ground. So we're just going to go ahead and remove it completely. And do we want to discard any? Yeah, let's discard the 18. I don't think we're going to generate that much firepower. Draw 2 cards. Oh, that's a cower card, split card. So we got a split smoke card, but it's only smoke for the U.S. and a fire 3 card. All righty. Well, we're approaching 45 minutes, and I think before we, I think we're going to want to take a break before we jump into this close combat that's coming. And I'm sure more infiltration is going to be the effort for more infiltration is going to be made. We're going ahead and cut it right here. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. And I'll see everybody next time. See ya.